Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Vosteed Corgi. A pretty interesting budget knife, definitely a budget knife. Well within that territory, actually. It should be available. I'm going to link it. Depends on when you're watching this, but I'll link it down in the description so you guys can check it out if you want. This guy comes in copper and is very heavy, but it does come in G10, and that's where it's actually less money in G10. That's what I'm going to recommend. If you want to pick up the carbon, the copper version, then it might be available. But I'll link every available option down in the description. It does help my channel when you use those links to buy something or before you buy something, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to Vosteed for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of this knife. The overall length of the Corgi coming in at, wow, it's shorter than I thought it was going to be. It's 7 inches. Blade length is actually 2.9. which makes it legal in places where 3 inches or more is illegal. So that's kind of neat. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. So up against the Ontario Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Rat Model 2. Definitely a lot closer to them, almost exactly the same size as the Rat Model 2. How about up against the Civivi Elementum? Once again, very similar to the size of the Civivi Elementum. They copied it! No, it's just similar, as is the case with about 1,000 designs out there. How about up against the Pyrite? A little tiny bit shorter than the Pyrite. Should we do one more? Let's do the Benchmade Bug Out. Also a little shorter than the Benchmade Bug Out. How's the action on this knife? It's a button lock. They call it a Trek lock. It's a button lock. It's nothing different. It's just that it's their version of the button lock. It works exactly the way that you would expect it to. The detent, what's acting as the detent is the plunge lock itself, and it flips reliably. You can also front flip it. Neither of the flippers feel like the perfect break, but it's good enough, right? This is one of those knives where I think the satisfaction comes from the design itself. The blade disappears entirely within the frame, and then seems to sort of appear out of nowhere, which is kind of fun, right? This is it's one of those knives where it's kind of fun to carry because it looks good. It doesn't look, when you got a certain vibe you got going on with your aesthetic for the day, whether you're at work or you're just in casual clothes, and you're not trying to give off too much intensity. You're not trying to give off a Cold Steel Espada XL vibe, right? You're not trying to be aggro. You're just trying to, this kind of goes with that. It's very casual, right? It's not a super duper threatening aesthetic. The blade will drop into the handle, by the way. I'm just having trouble timing it. You can see that I'm letting go a little bit early, but it's plenty smooth, right? And the detent is tuned well enough. There is a little bit of stick. I have a feeling that will wear out, but this did come with a little bit of stick. So carry profile. Let's put it up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's about the same. Nope. It's a hair thinner. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. Something that is really great about this is that the profile makes it insanely easy to carry. It's not thick. It's not an obtrusive design. It's just a sort of pill-shaped knife, right? So not even, it's a hair shorter than the Para 3. Nowhere near as long as the PM2. Nowhere near as tall as either. So that's great. Let's weigh it. This is copper, so it's going to weigh way more than the G10 version. I'm not sure why they sent me the copper one, but, okay. It looks pretty cool. I mean, here's a close-up. They've kind of got like a heavy patina on it, kind of an aged look. Holy crap! 5.5 ounces. It's safe to assume that the G10 version probably weighs like 3.5. I think you can comfortably shave 2 ounces off of this thing. For the G10, or if they make micarta for the micarta versions. But yeah, that's really heavy. So it's just, that's the copper version, right? Materials. Your choice of G10, possibly micarta or copper, right? They might actually have more materials. And then the blade steel is 14C20. I'm sorry, no, that's incorrect. It's Nitro V. Sorry, I'm so used to so many companies are utilizing 14C28N. I'm just not used to that. This is Nitro V, and their website lists them heat treating this at, it says 60 and then +2, meaning likely 60 to 62. I'm not super familiar with Nitro V and its appropriate heat treat zone, but I believe that's generally where you can expect it to be. So I think that's okay, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. Let's see here. What else do we need? Oh yeah, we need to do the hardware check. Get on my tools. The tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. Where is it? There we go. So this is a T8. We have a T8 pivot, T6 for the body screws, and I'm sorry, no, T6 for the pocket clip screws, but T8 for the body screws. Absolutely. So that's nice. Just a couple on each side. Nice minimal hardware. No issues there. Blade stock thickness. Let's measure that real quick. Definitely about time for a new battery, but you know the drill. I like to run things completely out before I replace them, to the immeasurable annoyance of my viewing audience. 115,000, so not a super thick blade stock. All right. There is not a lot going on here. The rest of this video is going to be pretty straightforward. In fact, at this point, most people watching have already decided whether or not the knife is for them. If you're familiar with Vosteed, you'll know that their quality is good. They know how to make a good knife, and this is no exception. It's good. It's not super duper amazing hand melting ergonomics, but it's not bad either. I mean, a long oval is an easy shape to hang on to. There is nothing to warn you before you run your finger up on the edge of the blade. So this is more of a use it for little things here or there when you need it, but it's probably not like a take it out and use it every single day for like long-term cutting tasks, because whether you're wearing gloves or not, there's just nothing there to guard you, right? This is a good package opener, or just like box opener, box cutter. That's a little bit more fancy than the Milwaukee Fastback, right? As is most of the stuff on this. Everything on this channel is fancier than the Milwaukee Fastback. Let's be honest. I think I'd almost rather carry the Open L. Almost. But yeah, it's easy to hang on to, and the edges are knocked down, so nothing sharp or anything like that. The pocket clip is just beautiful. I don't know why that they opted to. I mean, it's holding in this backspacer. They could have moved the screw over here. It's fine. The carry depth is fine, but I'm thinking about the bill of the clip going into my hand, which is not much. I mean, this is an extremely well-designed clip. We have nested clip, recessed screws, continuous drop, slight swoop, rounded bill. That's all I could ask for, right? Moving it back just a little bit, the exact space of the screw would mean that the slight bill would not be in the middle of my hand at all. It would be moved back a bit where I don't notice it as much. Could have put this screw back here. We could have moved the lanyard bar back a little bit, but this is how they did it, so whatever. The mistake that they made was not offering a mounting position for left-handed people. I think that's, on a knife that is so symmetrical, like that's such a bummer. I mean, people say, well, it's a right-handed button lock. Okay, left-handed people can manipulate this knife just as easily as even easier, I think, to manipulate it with your index finger. So you really should, Vosteed, you got to start offering mounting positions for both left and right-handed people. Whoops, that is a problem. If you don't pay attention to where the pocket clip is, you'll do exactly what I just did, that's a problem with any symmetrical flipper, especially ones that they're exactly the same, right, on both sides. You're not going to know which side it's going to flip from. Every now and then I get somebody asking me, can you flip it from the other side? It's not possible because of where the blade stop is. If it were possible, then the blade would just wheel around. Can you imagine that? The blade would just wheel around 360 degrees, and you wouldn't be able to hold on to it anywhere but here, and it would be wildly dangerous and just humorously useless. So no, it only deploys from one side. Let's see. Anyways, we have a little backspacer here and a lanyard bar. So yay, lanyard people, you're included. The Vosteed logo on the clip, nice polished clip, looks good. The G10 versions have a big steel plate insert, and I think that also looks kind of cool. They list it as adding extra stability, and they don't explain why. I don't think that it offers any additional stability. I don't know. Maybe it does. It doesn't look like it. It's just a piece of steel where there would otherwise be G10. So I guess it is harder than G10 and therefore technically offers better stability. I don't know. I mean, maybe it creates a sort of captive situation with the pivot. I honestly didn't look hard enough, but that's how they list it there. This knife, there's really nothing else to say here. The knife locks up solid. Still a little bit of stick. No pivot lash or anything like that. Pretty consistent in here. Kind of a mushy detent, to be honest with you. What's happening here is the plunge lock is cut at an angle, right? To where it slips back off the blade tang, and it's just getting stuck in that travel right here. It's almost nothing. But I think there needs to be more of a distinct click, right? People like to feel the click. Use the pyrite. There's a good plunge lock. See that? Distinct click into place. That's what people want to see. How about the CJRV, the Civivi Elementum? Same thing. So we got to get that. It's just too much opportunity to get stuck on the travel there, but it's okay, right? Once it's down there, it's held in place. They may not all be like that. This one is slightly off center. Can we correct it? I don't know. Let's try. See if we can. If it comes off center from the factory, you don't have a problem unless you attempt to turn the pivot and it doesn't come back to center. Then you have slightly more of a problem. We have slightly more of a problem. Did we change the action? No. Did we even turn it? Hold on. Let's see if we turned it. Getting pretty tight there. Yeah, it's getting to the point now it doesn't want to flip. Kind of. It's a little tighter, but still not. That means that we have to dick with the handle screws, right? You got to pull them out. And you got to put your piece of paper. You got to push a piece of paper in there, wedge it over, screw everything back down, pull the paper out, and then slowly loosen the pivot and try and get it back to center while maintaining the smooth action and solid lockup, which is not something that you should have to do in 2023. Vosteed is not usually a repeat offender in this category. Most of the time you're going to get a centered blade, so maybe I just got a goofball. But then again, they did send this to me, so keep that in mind. Overall, though, I think this is a good, just kind of casual EDC knife. Nitro V's a great steel. The base price of these is $60. If you want the copper bad boy, you're gonna pay $80 for it to be heavier and with bad balance. But okay, I would recommend the G10 version. $60 isn't bad for this price. I really hope that mine is the only one that has the kind of, mushy detent, and that they sent me a weirdly off-centered one. It's just, all the other knives that Vosteed sends are just so consistent that it's hard for me to be like, be wary because they make this mistake. No more than any other. They're capable of making mistakes, but no more than any other company who makes, knives at this price point. So generally speaking, there are a ton of knives at the $60 price point that I would recommend over this. So I'm not going to say generally recommendable. It's not a knife that I would say everybody should be rushing out to buy this. But it's a cheap knife that I like. It's all right. I have faith that if you decide to buy this, you will probably get one that's a little bit better than mine. But that's really all I have to say. So it's going to go in my cheap knives I like playlist, and that's about it. I think it's a good casual EDC. Nothing serious. If you need something that's a little bit more of a continuous cutter, you're going to take it outside and use it for a long period of time. You're going to want something that's a little more ergonomically catered to the human hand, and something that's got a little bit more of a, if when you're manipulating it, when you're deploying it and you are, disengaging the lock, you're going to want something that's a little less, designed for fidget factor and a little more designed for, serious work. So, but it's fine. Thanks so much to, Vosteed for sending this in. Like I said, I will link it and all of the different variations that are available right down in the description. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do of course have Lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.